Okay, this is the 8th grade lesson for January 11th when I am out. And this is in our binder this year. This is page 11 because we started over the semester. Okay. We will fill out the table of contents when I get back next week on Tuesday. Okay. The good news is we're not really learning anything new today. So you already know how to do all the things. We are just talking about surface area and volume, but we're specifically only looking at nets today. So remember, a net is just a 2D representation. So that means it looks flat, it's unfolded. 2D representation of a 3D figure, of a three-dimensional figure. Okay. Right, and when we have a net in 8th grade in Texas, you are only going to be working with either a rectangular prism, a triangular prism, or a cylinder. Again, that is, at least in 2023, 8th grade in Texas, just the different prisms and cylinder. Okay, so we are finding the surface area and volume, and we're giving a 2D representation of a 3D shape. So looking at the very first problem, we talked about this a long time ago. We know that when we fold this up, the two shapes that are going to be parallel to each other that are identical are called bases, right? So this shape is a base with this shape. Okay. And then this shape, in this green color, is a matching base with this shape. All that means is these are the exact same shapes, and when we fold this shape, this figure, this 3D figure up to be a rectangular box, they would be parallel from each other. Okay, and this rectangle is a matching base with this rectangle. Okay. Now, unless it's specified for us, we said that we were going to use the two shapes that hang off the sides as the bases. So this is the rectangle base right here. Okay, so we know that the base, I just want to redraw it because I've colored all over this 3D figure. It looks like this is 5.5, so the vertical side of the base is 5.5. And then now we need the horizontal side of the base. So that's this part I'm outlining in black right now, right here. And that's not labeled. However, if I think about me folding this shape up, I know that this edge matches with this edge when it gets folded up, and this edge is labeled with 2 inches. So the horizontal side of the base is 2 inches, which means I really do know what the base is. So our goal is to find both total and lateral surface area and also the volume, right? Number 1 shows me a prism. Okay, so the total surface area formula is pH plus 2 big B. The lateral surface area formula is pH, and the volume is big BH. Total surface area, lateral surface area, and volume. Those are just found on your star chart or on the formula cheat sheet that I printed off for you guys. Or you can find these on Google, right? So these are the different formulas, and we've talked about how they work. So now we know in order to figure out and evaluate the surface areas and the volume, we just need to have values for these letters, these variables, P, H, and big B, right? So we need to make a list of our letters, big P, big B, and little h. Okay, we have a little surface area wrap for this, right? So perimeter of the base, that's big P. Adding sides makes us right, that's a guarantee. So we're going to have to take all of the sides, I'm trying to find a color I'm going to use. We're going to take all of the sides from the base and add them together. This is a rectangle, so I should have 4 sides, right? This side is 5.5 plus 2 plus another 5.5 plus 2. And then we would just type all of that stuff in our calculator, and big P would be 11 and 4 is 15. And I'm just gonna erase big B to leave myself more room. Okay, so now I'm finding big B. Okay, the part of the wrap for big B was space in the base, that's big B, which space in the base is the area, right? Little BH makes 90 degrees. So we need the two numbers that make a 90-degree angle from the base. And that'll tell me little BH, which is helpful because to find the area of a rectangle, we need little BH. Okay, so the two numbers that are making 90-degree angles are the vertical length and the horizontal length, so 5.5 and 2. So we're going to take 5.5 and multiply that by 2. So big B, after you type that in, you get 11. And again, just going to move H down a little bit. Okay, now the part of the wrap for H is the height, go base to base, right? So if the pink rectangles are the bases, then the distance from this base to this base is called the height of the prism. So I'm looking for how far apart are these two shapes. That's the sideways line between the two rectangles, which is labeled with 7. Okay. Now that I have all of the numbers, this is really just a typing fest. We're gonna plug in our formulas, pH plus 2b, pH, and BH, and then it's just a bunch of typing on our calculator. Okay. So for for total surface area, pH plus 2b would be 15 times whatever H is, 7, plus 2 times big B. Big B is 11. Okay, and you would type that in. I can type that in. Let's go to the Schoology, to the online calculator. And we need to type in 15 times 7. 15 times 7, P times H, plus 2 times big B. Big B was 11, right? Yep. 11. Uh-oh. No problem, I'm just gonna use the little delete button and retype it. 11. Close the parentheses there. Okay, so I know it's 127. 127 is all of this expression, so 127 is the total surface area. That would be inches squared because it's a type of area. Okay. Now looking at the lateral surface area, we need P times H. So I'm going to take P, and P is the value 15. So 15 times whatever H was. H we have 7. So we need 15 times 7. You would just typey, that'd be like 70. So 15 times 7, 105. Boom. Oh, this one. 105. Again, it's a type of surface. It's a type of area. It's surface area, so the inches are squared. Now to find volume, we would just take big B, which is 11, and multiply that by H, which is 7. 11 times 7, you could type it in your calculator, is 77. Now that's a volume, so those inches are cubed. Again, using these formulas and understanding where all the parts come from and why they work together to create those formulas, we have reviewed already. We have learned that already. We are just applying this now to an unfolded 3D shape. Okay, so that was number 1. Now let's look at number 3. Number 3. Okay, and again, I see that this is a prism. It's less obvious if you're looking at the rectangles, but it's really obvious if you're looking at the triangle bases, because when I fold them up, these wouldn't touch each other. They'd actually be parallel from each other, and they're the same exact triangle. So I've got two of the exact same bases, just parallel from each other, so they'll never touch. Those are the two bases. Okay, so again, I'm trying to find the total and lateral surface area as well as the volume. Because this is a prism, I'm going to look for my formulas using the prism stuff. So total surface area of a prism, on your cheat sheets, on the surface area side, we're looking at the prism. That would be pH plus 2 big B for total surface area. Okay, now lateral surface area of a prism is pH. And volume of a prism is big BH. Okay, so then in order to evaluate those things, I need to identify what big P is. I need to identify what big B is. And I need to identify what little h is. Okay. I usually like looking at h first, because when the figure is folded up, it's a little easier to see how you're going from one base to the other base. We can still do that here. So from one triangle traveling to the other triangle, you'd have to travel 14 inches. So the height is 14 inches. Okay, looking for big P. Perimeter of the base, that's big P. Adding sides makes you right, and that's a guarantee. Okay, so I will say that this is apparently an equilateral triangle, which I didn't specify, but we're gonna go with that. Okay, since it's an equilateral triangle, once I know what this side is or what this side is, I'll also know what this side is. Think about if I were to fold this up, the triangle would come up and match with this side. The slanted side of the triangle would match with this. So the slanted side of the triangle is 8, which means this is 8 and this is 8. And I don't think that actually makes a triangle, but we're gonna roll with it. So the perimeter would be 8 plus 8, right? This 8 plus this 8 plus the third 8. Now I'm not adding the dashed line that's labeled 7 because that goes through the triangle and not around it. Perimeter is only the lengths around it. So perimeter would be 8 plus 8 plus 8, which is 24. Okay, and now we're on big B. To find big B, I have space in the base, that's big B. Little b, h makes 90 degrees. So I know I'm going to need the two numbers that make 90 degrees because that's little bh. Now I keep little bh if it's a rectangle, but if it's a triangle, I need to half that, which is just the formula for the area of the triangle, right? So half times the two numbers that form a 90-degree angle. That dashed line makes a 90-degree angle. So this line makes a 90-degree angle with this line. So B and H are 8 and 7. We have half then times 8 times 7. Half of 8 is 4 times 7 is 28. So big B is 28. From here, I'm ready to fill in my formulas. Let's see. I'm going to continue my number 3 journey down below because I've effectively run out of room. So here's number 3 continued. Now the total surface area would be pH plus 2b. I need the perimeter of the base, which is 24, times the height of the prism, which we said was 14, plus 2 is just part of the formula, and it's because there's two separate bases, times the area of that base, which is 28. So we'd now go to the online calculator and type in 24 times 14 plus 2 times 28. 24 times 14 plus 2 times 28. Okay, and that is 392. So, keep doing that. So, okay, here we go. pH plus 2B has a total value of 392. 392. I've got a good memory, or something like that. 392, and this is all measured with inches. It's a type of area, so the inches are squared. Notice 392 is not squared. It's not squared because we already have it kind of squared. Okay. That'll make more sense later in your mathematical careers. Okay, looking at the lateral surface area. Lateral surface area is the formula P times H. That's the perimeter of the base times height of the prism. The perimeter of the base was 24. So we're going to have 24 times the height of the prism, which was 14, right? Yep. So now I need 24 times 14. Online calculator, 24 times 14 is 336. So the lateral surface area is 336. And because it's an area, that would be inches squared. Okay. And now I'm looking for capital BH because next up is the volume. And capital B is 28 times little h, the height of the prism, h, which is 14. So I need 28 times 14. 28 and 14, the product of 28 and 14. 28 and 14 multiplied together is 392. 392. Now this is a volume, it's 3D space, so the inches are to the third power. Alrighty. So go ahead, take a moment to pause if you need to write any of this stuff down. I hope you all have it written down. Now we're on the last shape here for number 6. Now I've got some circles, and it looks like when I roll this up, I'll have like some rectangle thing going around the circle connected to another circle. So that means that this is a cylinder. Okay, so when I look at my cheat sheet for a cylinder, the total surface area formula, you guys hate the formula because it's super long, but it actually is easier to work. So we've got 2 times pi times r times h plus 2 times pi times r squared. The lateral surface area formula, 2 times pi times r times h. And the volume, big B H. Okay, so the things that I need from this cylinder in order to find the total surface area, the lateral surface area, and the volume look to be, well, I've got to know what R is, right? I've got to know what R is. I've got to know what H is. And I also have to know what big B is. Right, okay. So, that's gonna bug me. Looking at the circle, I can see that there is a length through the circle, and it's going all the way across the circle. Our options are diameter or radius, If it goes all the way across the circle, it's the longer length, so the diameter is 16. That means the radius is just half of that because the two halves of the circle have to add together to make the 16. Well, 8 plus 8 is 16, so the radius would be 8. Which means I know the radius of the cylinder, which I can fill in now right here. Okay. Now looking at the height of the cylinder. Height of the cylinder is still just how far away is one circle base from the other circle base. How far apart is that? 35 units. So h is 35. Okay, now this is where we're seeming to get confused. Big B is still space in the base. Yes, little bh does make 90 degrees, but in a circle, there's only one number given to us. Maybe two if you have the radius and the diameter. However, they don't make 90 degrees with each other, so we can't use the formula BH. We're looking for, instead, the area of a circle. That's the formula, pi times r squared, which is on your cheat sheet. Okay, so we need pi times r squared. Well, you guys know pi is just 3.14. And we know that r is 8. So we're just going to square 8 and multiply that by pi. Okay, so we can go to the online calculator, type in 3.14 times, that's pi times 8 squared. It's an approximation for pi. So we did almost pi times the radius 8 squared. And that is 200.96. So the area of the circle base is 200.96. Or big B is 200.96. Alright, now all I have to do is just plug my stuff, plug the values into the formula. The formulas, I guess. So we've got 2 times, instead of pi, we can use 3.14, unless we're told to use the pi button, in which case we'll do that instead, times the next letter in the formula is r, so times 8, and then times h, which is 35, and then there's a plus sign in the formula, plus sign, 2, again times pi, so 3.14 times r squared. Well, r from this circle is 8. So that's times 8 squared. Okay, I'm going to split screen so I can see what I'm supposed to be typing. Alright, we'll go here. We need 2 times 3.14 times 8 times 35 plus 2 times 3.14 times 8 squared. Okay, and that product is 2,160 and 32 hundredths. So the total surface area is 2,160 32 hundredths. Okay, now we're ready to do the lateral surface area. So again, we're just plugging in the values for what we know in the formula. So this is going to be, this is 2 times pi, 3.14, times r, the radius of this circle was 8, times h, the height of this cylinder was 35. Okay, and that is both parts of it. That's all of the lateral surface area formula. So I will go ahead and type this in on the calculator now. we're going to type in, you're typing in 2 times 3.14 times 8 times 35. And the value of the lateral surface area then is 1,758 and 4/10. The measurements in the cylinder weren't given units, so what we can say, these are both surface areas, right? They're both areas, so their units are squared. Okay. Now we need the volume of this shape. The volume, I'll follow the formula capital BH. Capital B stood for area of the base, and in a cylinder or a cone, the base is a circle. So I used the formula pi times r squared. When we plugged in what we know for pi and r, we got 200.96 for big B. So big B times h is going to be 200.96 times what we know about h, which is 35. Now I'm ready to type this in on my online calculator. We have 200.96 for area of the base times 35 for height of the prism, or cylinder, I mean, and that is 7,033 and 6/10. Okay, and this is units. The measurements that we don't know, we can call units, and that'll be to the third power because it's a volume. Okay. How much time is that? Alrighty, so you guys should have roughly between 10 and 15 minutes of class left. So your homework can be found again on the Schoology. So I'd recommend that you go to a brand new Schoology tab. That way you keep your online calculator. Click on your math class clearly. Black folder is the current week. Yellow folder is where the assignments live. Okay, and the homework today is net surface area and volume. So you'll click on that. Okay. We're going to hit start attempt. Oh, right here, some important information. Find the total surface area, lateral surface area, and volume for each net. Round your answer to the hundredths. We're rounding to the hundredths, and then we want to use 3.14 for pi. Okay. Cool beans. Looks like there's 8 problems. Maybe if you're super lucky and I didn't pay attention, I might have put some of the homework problems in as the notes. So make sure you took good notes. If you have questions, comments, concerns, please feel free to contact me via Schoology. And I'll see you guys on Tuesday.